家背诵一首唐诗《静夜思》。床前明月光，疑是地上霜。举头望明月，低头思故乡。谢谢大家。
Did you tell them where you are? Told me you're 12 years old and tell me where you go to school?
Yes.
See, she's done this before. She knows how to introduce herself. Now, she speaks Chinese, as you can see, and we moved to Singapore several years ago. The reason we moved to Singapore is because, in my view, China is the next great country in the world. And I wanted to prepare my children for the 21st century. The way to do that is so that they know Asia and so that they speak perfect Mandarin. Now, some of you probably wonder why I say that China is the next great country in the world. Well, the 19th century was the century of the UK. The 20th century was the century of the US. Well, the 21st century is going to be the century of China, whether we like it or not. And there are a lot of people, certainly a lot of people in the West who don't like that. But in China, they work very hard. They say that invest over 35% of their income. In America, we save 2% of our income. And China is on the rise again. China is the only country I know of in world history that's had recurring periods of greatness. Great Britain was great once. Rome was great once. Egypt was great once. But China's been the absolute #1 country in the world 3 or 4 times in history. It's also had total collapse and total catastrophe 3 or 4 times in history, but it's the only country that after collapsing has turned around and risen to the top again. No other country's been able to do that. China had been in decline for 300 or 400 years, and in 1978, Deng Xiaoping said we have to try something new. He started opening up China to the outside world, to entrepreneurship and capitalism again. You know the rest of the story. And many people in the West think that this is not going to last long. They happen to be wrong. They don't understand Chinese history. They don't understand the world. Do not think there won't be problems in China somewhere along the way. Certainly there are going to be problems. America, as we rose to power and glory, we had 13 depressions with a D. We had a horrible civil war. We had very few human rights. We had very little rule of law. And yet, we became the most successful country in the 20th century. So China will have problems. I don't know what, when, why, or how, but the way everybody rises, whether you're a family or an individual or a company or a country, you have setbacks along the way. It's the way the world works. When I see problems in China, they're not going to stop speaking Mandarin and learn Danish or something. They're going to continue to prepare themselves for the 21st century. So if you don't teach your children and grandchildren, you're going to be out of it. So please teach your children and grandchildren Mandarin. Now, I said to you, first I want to tell you that everything I tell you all tonight, I'm not giving you advice that I'm not following myself. If we talk about investments or life or anything, I'm doing it too, or I wouldn't be talking about it. So when I say to you that you should have children, well, Paige and I went home for lunch one day, and we got another one. We have 2 now. And by the way, I know that in Asia, many of you think that boys are better than girls. Booyah! I'm telling you, girls are so much better than boys, and to prove it to you, come.
大家好，我的名字是小丽芳，我今年8岁了，我的学校是南洋小学，我今年读2年级了。今年我要给你们讲个绕口令，名叫门后有个人。门后有个人，手里拿个盆，砰的一声响，是盆碰了门，还是门碰了盆？现在我再做一次快的。门后有个人，手里拿个盆，砰的一声响，是盆碰了门，还是门碰了盆？ 你们可以做吗？
Can any of the rest of you do that? I cannot, obviously. I certainly cannot. Did you tell them who you are? You tell them where you went to school? You tell them all about you? You tell them who your daddy is?
我的爸爸是杰姆·罗杰斯。
Okay, very, very good. Thank you.